or Appalachian Spring is really one of Martha Graham's most iconic works. In fact, we would have tours where we would just do Appalachian Spring or sometime Appalachian Spring and Cave of the Heart with, like, for example, we went up to Minneapolis with the Minneapolis St. Paul Chamber Orchestra performed. Part of the reason for its beloved nature is that the score, which was written for Martha Graham by Aaron Copland, is his famous Pulitzer Prize winning score for Appalachian Spring. And so many people don't realize that that famous dun dun da da dun dun da da dun da da dun, that Shaker hymn transferred symphonically was done, in fact, for Martha Graham's famous piece, Appalachian Spring. In terms of Martha Graham's other work, Spring again stands alone. It is, for example, it's part of a series of pieces that she did kind of celebrating the American frontier. And then, of course, analyzing it from a contemporary lens, you know, whose land was she doing her Appalachian Spring wedding dance on, you know, on that frontier? Yeah. And we had to talk about that with the company in a way, you know, like there was a legacy when Martha Graham was working on the piece initially with the composer Aaron Copland. There's extensive documentation that there was an American Indian female character who was taken out of the piece. And some of her movement was sort of transferred into other parts of the piece. And that really spurred a lot of conversation because just like the American Indian sort of disappeared from Martha Graham's piece, the American Indian sort of disappeared from these lands which the homesteaders colonized. Let me talk briefly about the set. So I mentioned a character. So it's a wedding between a pioneer, a young bride, and a young groom. And the idea is that this will be their homestead land and that the groom has built the home for his bride. The way that the set is designed, famously constructed by Isamu Noguchi, Japanese-American sculptor, who collaborated on many pieces with Martha Graham. But this piece, it's a very abstract house, but you can tell it's a house, you know? Part of that sort of abstract, there's a rock, which is sort of like a pulpit, which is sort of like it's so abstracted, but that's where the preacher stands. So the set in and of itself is kind of a priceless piece of American sculpture. And so the whole package of this Pulitzer Prize winning score, Isamu Noguchi's kind of signature original set, and then Martha Graham's extremely moving and really theatrical rendition of this pioneer marriage, it makes it kind of one of her pieces. It just really stands out. So all of those themes, that kind of American, you know, and again, like here we are in the 21st century Americans, but I think to think about that immigrant experience, if we can, is something, you know, like Graham's parents were immigrants. So there's still a lot of truth into it, although it's a complex piece and there's things to discuss as well. Yeah.